Okay, everybody, we are kicking things off with the beautiful Krystal Boothe here, counselor extraordinaire, founder of a nonprofit. What don't you do?
I do everything trauma.
Yes, I was about to say, she is here to help us get through, you know, that's kind of your specialty, is helping people get through that trauma and really just healing.
Absolutely. All around healing, all around self-care, too.
Yes. Okay. So let's dive right in, because you founded a nonprofit. Let's go through the history. Wings of the Future. Tell me everything.
Okay. So basically, to make the story not too long, basically what I did was I noticed there was a problem. I was working in Los Angeles and area, and I was noticing that there was a problem at the facility, the substance abuse women's facility that I was working at. And I kind of got, you know, like hurt, because I was like, we're helping them with substance abuse. We're helping them. I was the one over the trauma group, running the trauma groups there. But we're not really helping them get their kids back. We're not really helping them find something that they can hope for, that they can push for. Because once they get out of this facility, they likely what they'll do is they'll recidivate. They'll go right back to using again, or doing some sort of something damaging to themselves. And so what I decided to do was I went to my boss and I said, you know what, can I start a domestic violence group here? Because what happens with the courts is when you lose your children through Child Protective Services, that happens a lot in Los Angeles, and you know, even in our bigger cities, you know, what will happen is they'll force you to take the child from you, put you on visitation, or sometimes they'll just adopt your child out. And what was happening, and I was noticing in Los Angeles, that they were taking the kids and they weren't bringing the kids back. And so it's like, I gotta do something. So I'm already helping them with their trauma. I'm helping them heal. This is also helping them come off of the drugs. But what happens next? So that's what I ended up starting, that domestic violence, and I did the parenting, and I did the anger management and things like that, and I just started teaching them, really. Oh my goodness. Well, we can definitely all learn something about ourselves. You know, you used a great analogy earlier of really getting in the right headspace, you know, to start that healing process. Absolutely. And I think one of my mindset shifts that I really would kind of like teach anyone is that a lot of the times when you're in the trauma, you're in your survival brain. And the way that I kind of depict the survival brain is the survival brain is the part of the brain where it's kind of like a room, if you want to think about how it would look. It's kind of like a room, but the room is empty. And I always say, you can put padded cells on it, pad on the wall, or you cannot put pads on the wall. But the bottom line is the room is empty. And that's kind of what a lot of people are in. They're in survival brain. They're just doing what they need to do from day to day. And they're not really living that full life that, you know, God intended us to live. And so that's kind of what I help them do. I help them come out of the survival brain by helping them reset their neurobiological system. And also I help them use my technique, my flagship technique, which is deep inner soul healing with self-empathy. And I help them to begin to heal the wounded soul, the wounded heart and mind. And then I also help them using the scriptures too, to kind of help them, you know, get a new mind, a new mindset, a new way of thinking about life and seeing themselves.
Definitely. And you said, I mean, we're making progress in 8 weeks.
We're making. This is a program that literally can take you from, you know, not knowing anything about trauma to really understanding yourself in a so deep way. That's why I call it deep inner soul healing with self-empathy. Because we're going deep, and I think you have to go deep, because a lot of the times with therapy, a lot of people, they just do the surface level, kind of they talk about it and they're like, yeah, I feel better, I got it off my chest, you know, I'm not as angry about it, you know, I kind of can like go day to day. And a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll do coping things, like, which is nothing wrong with coping is great, but I really like to heal, because I think healing is more important, because it's something that once you heal from something, it's kind of like if you have a scar on your hand and, you know, it's a cut, and you know, you can cope with the cut and you can kind of like rinse it off and kind of cope with it and deal with it. It's painful, you know, every time you get hit it again, you're right back to in pain again. But what I like to do is to help you, and it takes a little bit of grit to get in there and do that kind of work. But the goal is to actually get rid of it, period. So you don't have to go back to that again.
It'll be well worth it. well worth it. Krystal, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all this with us. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, folks, we do have to take a quick break, but we will be right back after this.
For full interviews and much more.